Yes, it was.
Hello.
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 What is up, guys? I'm in the car with the one and only Jared Wiggins. Yo, we just got boba tea. It's good because it's warm, finally, and so it's good to have some nice, cool drinks.
Well, it's the drinks are cold. The outside is warm.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are on the way to catch a train. I'm catching a train back to New York City right now, and we are always rushing to the train.
Hey, what are we doing?
We are running because Jared.
It just is.
It's just a thing. Jared, describe yourself like 5 years ago. So we met roughly 5 years ago. Explain to us where you expected to be 5 years ago and 5 years now, how that's different.
Okay, yeah.
You feel me?
So, first off, if you had known me in 2016, I was probably a little cocky, and I was definitely a little stuck up. Definitely just like this really excited about the unknown world, like visionary, I would say, in a lot of ways. There was so much possibility. Like in 2018 was the first time that I ever went flying. Hey guys, we're in Ogilvy Transportation Center. We're gonna go meet with some other Unbounders. Just got
Some really bad bubble tea.
I love it. So it was like this whole world was opening up to me, meeting all these cool people, and realizing that, wow, like I want to be like them, I want to do incredible big things for this world. It was really kind of just like, where does God have me go? I want to be a career guy. So I was just like super focused on what I could be and what I could do.
Yeah.
I definitely would say I was a little selfish back then.
I remember that as well.
But yeah, I was a lot more career driven. And then 5 years ago, where I thought I would be today, is I totally thought I'd be, one, a coach with Unbound, 2, living in San Antonio, 3, owning my own like art business or whatever, and then 4, like being a top-notch marketer, not being Unbound's marketer. I thought I'd be married, have a couple of kids, totally thought I'd have this huge house that I designed myself. Like I was totally like set to do all these big things, go on missions trips, whatever. And yeah, stuff is different though.
So those are the things you expected,
Yeah.
right? Were there things that you felt like people expected out of you? Or are these things also like things that you expected out of yourself?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, my parents were really awesome and encouraging my siblings and I to be super think outside of the box kind of people. Really like I graduated high school when I was 16, unlike, most people. Just kidding, you all did the same thing as I did. And so I kind of thought to myself like, wow, like because my mom said I could do all these things early and I could get like graduate college early and I could just be like the best ever, that I honestly thought I was going to be some special person in the world. Like I honestly thought I was going to be like the best of XYZ, whatever that might be. Not that I wanted to outshine other people, but just like I felt like I was going to do these huge things and be like this great leader in some sense. But I would totally say I was encouraged by friends and stuff to pursue those things. And not that those things are bad things, but I just was like the community that I was becoming a part of all had those sort of mindsets where it was like, we're pursuing vision, we're pursuing big things, we're pursuing, whatever. So.
And those things for myself personally aren't bad, but I know what you mean for the two of us, where we were so focused on that we weren't focused exactly on what God wanted sometimes.
Well,
which was
what God says in His Word is, all things are lawful and all things are helpful. Those things are good things. But it's not the pursuit of success that's an issue, it's where your heart is. I honestly just didn't know how to let things go to God and like to really pursue His plan. I kind of thought like, my great purpose in God's plan will happen 5 years from then. In 2016, I thought that in 2021 I would be like, I would make it to God's purpose and plan. And then, never realized that I was actually in God's purpose and plan in the moment where I was at.
So where are you now in 2021?
I'm in Virginia. First off, I was an Illinois boy, grew up in Chicago, and I live in Virginia now. I am married. Been married for...
He is married.
3 months.
It's awesome. Sorry, ladies. I know.
Wow, smells like cow. That's Virginia for you. So I've been here for about 2 years. Got married in December to the love of my life. who, sure enough, actually did Unbound. Never knew that. Like, never saw her in the community or met her, but then, like, I moved out to Virginia, and I went to her church's young adult group. She's the first person I met. Walked in, and she's standing there. She's like, "Hi, my name's Hannah." I'm like, "Hi, Jared. Hello." Yeah, and we started talking about our crazy college experiences, and I figured out that she did College Plus and Unbound. So, yeah, I would say, generally growing up, I was pretty insecure as a person. Still, what am I saying? That's why I make faces at the camera.
We all are.
But I definitely struggled with that and really didn't have any settling. I was pursuing all these things, like all excited about the future, never really like slowed down to believe God's word, in the sense that like I never really slowed down to understand God's grace for myself and what that meant. I would say I never slowed down to discover his purpose and honestly to notice how great he was in spite of me. And so I was very like self-focused instead of self-forgetting. I'm still growing, I'm still broken, and I still need Jesus every single day.
Yeah.
But God has really shown me and taught me what it means to surrender and what it means to live a life of letting him be Lord over everything, and accepting that when he says, I will make you a fisher of men, or I will complete the purposes that which I'm planning for you. Like, he means that. Like, God has actually meant that. And so, like, I ended up working a job that I like would never ever like want to work. I'm a project manager in construction, commercial construction, so it's like big buildings and stuff. If you had asked me 5 years ago if that's what I was going to do, I'd say heck no, because that job is for 40-year-old men, not for 18-year-old Jared who thought he was the cool stuff. But I ended up getting this job by God's grace. Like, I literally, like, it's incredible. It provides benefits for my family, and it provides for Hannah and I to start a life together. It's providing for food and housing, and like that's incredible. And so like I sat there growing up being like, oh man, I got to do my dream job. And then I all of a sudden started working a job where I got to do what was important, which was serve Lord and love others. And I'm sitting here in a routine, well, somewhat routine. Abe kind of threw off that routine this last week. But we're sitting in a routine where I work and I'm able to pour into my work and grow and honestly like live in humility, which is not, the word says to humble yourself. And so I can't say this in boasting. God has enabled me to humble myself. It's a posture. Like, humbling is a posture of faith before God. And so like I've by God's grace, I've been able to lower myself to a place where I'm like, all right, I'm not doing my dream job, but you know what? I enjoy every moment of my life. My wife is fantastic. My life is fantastic. My home is awesome, and my community is thriving. And it's not because I'm doing anything. It's because God's just faithful. So yeah, I'd say now I'm a lot more confident in where I'm at. I feel like routine has been kind of insanely awesome. And just like, even something like art, which, I mean, most of you know, I know Abe knows that I'm like super passionate about art and creating. I almost picture like creating a piece of art is kind of how I treated my life. But before, I always wanted to see what I could accomplish within 10 minutes. How big I could get, how awesome I could get within 10 minutes without once enjoying the process. I always wanted the awesome end result. I wanted it to be incredible.
And perfect.
And perfect, yeah. Like that line, masterpiece. Oh, so smooth. Look at that piece. Wow. Something like that. Wild. But it's been crazy. Like, I've been taking art lessons, and I probably accomplish on a scale of like, I don't know if you can see my other finger. On a scale of like this, I probably would accomplish this much every time I do art lessons.
Yeah.
And enjoying the process is so sweet because you brush a little bit, paint a little bit, and God has created us to enjoy Him and enjoy things and enjoy life that He's given us to live, and not to fret and think, oh wow, why don't I have it better? Instead, enjoy the process, enjoy what He's given you, because it's a gift. It's there's a time for everything. I miss the Unbound days quite a lot. Like, reminiscing with Abe and old friends is awesome, but there's a season for everything, and you enjoy where you're at, and you surrender to it, because if you fight to get out of where God has you, you're going to be out of the line with God's plan, and that doesn't go over too well.
Jared is an amazing artist. So, Jared, why don't you shout out where people can find you, where people can see some of your art and whatnot?
So, I'll shout it out, but I'm terrible at keeping up with it anymore. I've literally become a hermit. If you truly want to stalk me, on Facebook and on Instagram, you can look up JAYC artwork. And that's where I have all my art. and all my stuff. Look in local Virginia coffee shops.
Oh yeah, totally.
And at Times Square. No, I'm kidding.
Eventually. Awesome. Any last words?
Well, all right. Your life is not your own. Be a living sacrifice. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Amen.
Goodbye.
Be unbound. See you around.